The list of suspects at the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th continues to grow. At this point, not seeing any names from Minnesota or North Dakota. We'll scroll through the list of suspects at this point. You can pause the video at any time to take a closer look at names and specific information about the complaint. Daniel Adams, charged with assaulting a federal officer, obstructing law enforcement, and more. This spot here is for their state of residency, it's not filled in for this. Arrested in Texas. Christopher Alberts, carrying or having a readily accessible firearms on the Capitol grounds. He's from Maryland, arrested on the 7th of January. Thomas Barnell, restricted building or grounds, violent entry. State of residence isn't listed. He was arrested, though, in New Jersey. Richard Barnett, that's the guy who was in Nancy Pelosi's office, arrested in Arkansas, made his initial appearance on the 12th. Robert Bauer, state of residence not listed, but he was arrested in Kentucky, knowingly entering and remaining in a restricted building. Damon Beckley, unlawful entry into a restricted building, state of residence not listed, arrested in Kentucky. Brian Betanacour, restricted building grounds, unlawful activities, arrested in Maryland. Joshua Black, restricted building, state of residence, Alabama. Matthew Bledsoe, knowingly entering, remaining in a restricted building, arrested in Tennessee. Again, this blank spot is their state of residence, not filled in on this one. Larry Brock, one count of knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building. He's from Texas. Terry Brown, Pennsylvania, arrested on 1/11. Jacob Chansley, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building. He's from Arizona. Albert Kerpelli, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building. He's from New York. Lonnie Kaufman, possession of an unregistered firearm. He's from Alabama. Josiah Colt from Idaho, arrested in Idaho, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building. Cody Connell, state of residence not listed. He was arrested, though, in Louisiana. Matthew Council from Florida, knowingly entering a restricted building. Jenny Cudd from Texas, restricted building, violent entry. Again, from Texas. Michael Curzio, he's from Florida, entering a restricted building. Hunter Emke, state of residence not listed, arrested, though, in California. Lisa Eisenhart, conspiracy, civil disorder, restricted building, arrested in Tennessee. Derek Evans, one count of knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building, state of residence, West Virginia. Brandon Fellows, restricted building, state of residence not listed, but arrested, and hearing set in Northern District of New York. Cindy Fitchet, knowingly entering and remaining in a restricted building. She's from Virginia. Jacob Fracker, knowingly entering a restricted building. He's one of 2 off-duty Virginia police officers charged in federal court. His state of residence is not listed here. Thomas Gallagher, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building. He's from New Hampshire. Antime Giannet, arrested in Texas, knowingly entering a restricted building. Von Gordon, knowingly entering a restricted building. He's from Louisiana. Jack Griffith, knowingly entering a restricted building. He was arrested in Tennessee. Peter Harding, knowingly entering a restricted building. State of residence not listed. Apparently arrested in New York. Edward Hemingway, knowingly entering a restricted building, arrested in Charlottesville, Virginia. Douglas Jensen, knowingly entering a restricted building, Iowa, state of residence. Adam Johnson, knowingly entering a restricted building, state of residence, Florida. Cleet Keller, obstructing law enforcement, part of the charges there. He's from Colorado. Edward Lang, assaulting or resisting or impeding certain officers or employees. State of residence isn't listed, arrested in New York. Mark Leffingwell, knowingly entering and remaining in a restricted building, state of Washington. Kevin Loftus, knowingly entering a restricted building. He's from Wisconsin. Joshua Lawler, remaining in a restricted buildings without lawful authority. State of residence or where he was arrested is not listed. Kevin Lyons, knowingly entering a restricted building, arrested in Illinois. Cleveland Meredith, making interstate threats to Speaker Nancy Pelosi. State of residence not listed, nor where he was arrested. David Mish Jr., unlawful entry into restricted grounds. He was state of residence not listed, arrested in Wisconsin. Aaron Mostovsky, one felony count of theft of government property. He's from New York. Eric Munchel, entering a restricted building. He's from Tennessee. Nicholas Oakes, filed in one count of unlawful entry into restricted building. Robert Packer, entering a restricted building. He's from Virginia. Williams Pepe, restricted building. He's from New York. Dominic Pizzola, obstruction of a official proceeding, destruction of government property. State of residence isn't listed. Initial appearance in the Western District of New York. Christine Priola, entering a restricted building. She's from Ohio. Joshua Pruitt, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building. State of residence not listed. Blake Reed, entering a restricted building. State of residence not listed, arrested in Nashville. Thomas Robertson, entering a restricted building. Says under the complaint, 2 off-duty Virginia police officers charged in federal court. Nicholas Rodin, entering a restricted building, disorderly conduct, and more. He's from Maryland, arrested in D.C. Eliel Rosa, restricted buildings, violent entry or disorderly conduct, from Texas. Bradley Ruskalis, restricted building, intent to impede government business, from Illinois. Robert Sanford, restricted building, arrested. He's from Pennsylvania, arrested in Pennsylvania. Hunter Seafried, restricted building, violent entry and disorderly conduct. According to the complaint, it appears he's one of two Delaware men. And here's the second. Kevin Seafried, Hunter Seafried and Kevin Seafried. Apparently both from Delaware. Troy Smocks, threats in interstate commerce, arrested in Texas. And Peter Stagger, civil disorder, arrested in Arkansas. John Sullivan, restricted building, from Utah. Douglas Sweet, knowingly entering a restricted building. He's from Virginia. Andrew Williams, unlawful entry of restricted building. He's from Florida, arrested in Florida. And finally, Andrew Wrigley, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds without lawful authority, violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds, arrested in Pennsylvania. Those are some of the folks now charged in that Capitol riot January 6th. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.